What's up, everybody? This is Domingo Hero Network, and today's wrestling video I'm going to do a discussion video. I'm going to discuss the history of the WCW slash WWF slash WWE Cruiserweight Championship, as well as talking about the WCW's Cruiserweight division and the WWE's Ruthless Aggression era's Cruiserweight division. So here we go. So this championship was born on October 27, 1991 in WCW. That happened in WCW's pay-per-view Halloween Havoc. Now, at that time, when that championship first came out in WCW on October 27, 1991, it was known at the time, it used to be known as the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship, way before it used to be called the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And of course, at that time, Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, the first ever Cruiserweight champion was the late Brian Pillman. Rest in peace to Brian Pillman. He was the first ever Cruiserweight champion. Of course, at that time, it was known as the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. And there's only 4 wrestlers who actually held that title at that time when it used to be known as the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. Brian Pillman, the first champion. The second champion was Jushin Thunder Liger, and Brian Pillman was the third champion and became a 2-time champion. Scotty Flamingo and Brad Armstrong. Those 4 guys I just mentioned held the WCW Cruiserweight Championship when it used to be known as the WCW Light Heavyweight Champion back in the days. Now, in 1992, September 2nd, 1992, the championship was deactivated, and of course, Brad Armstrong was the champion at that time. However, the title has been vacated because Brad Armstrong has suffered a knee injury at that time, and at that time they was trying to do like a tournament to declare a new champion, but that never occurred at that time. And of course, the title was deactivated on September 2nd, 1992. On March 20th, 1996, WCW decided to bring back the championship after being vacated for 4 years, and they decided to change the name. It was no longer the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. It was known as the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And of course, as you can see, these 2 championship belts that you see on the screen, the one on the top is the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, and the one on the bottom is known as the WWE Cruiserweight Championship from WWE's Ruthless Aggression era. And I gotta say, I love the Cruiserweight division from WCW, and I love the Cruiserweight division from the WWE's Ruthless Aggression era on SmackDown. And it was so much fun. I really love it. It was so much fun. They even have funny comedy skits that was funny. It was entertainment, good entertainment. And not to mention these small guys, they have, from back in the days, they have character. They have charisma. They were believable. They had some great cruiserweight matches, and it was more than just characters and charisma and all that stuff. The cruiserweight division it was all about high flying, high risk maneuvers, and you see these cruiserweights doing amazing high flying, high risk maneuvers, all these amazing moves that they did. They sell the moves pretty well. They had some great matches, battle for championship. It was so much fun. Not only in WCW, but in WWE's Ruthless Aggression on SmackDown. It was so much fun as well. You see all these high risk maneuvers and stuff, and not to mention the Cruiserweight division was exclusive to SmackDown, and not just that, but the Cruiserweight division on SmackDown in the Ruthless Aggression era was one of the reasons why SmackDown back in the days in the Ruthless Aggression era was good. It was good back then, and I love the cruiserweight. It was good. It was great. They had great cruiserweight matches. Hell, some cruiserweight battle heavyweights at that time as well because they have character. They have charisma. They were believable, and hell, they even act like real tough big men, even though there was cruiserweights, but they were really act tough men. Comedy scene was funny and entertainment. I love it, man. It was great back in the days, and especially and even WCW's cruiserweight division back then. Eric Bischoff, the guy who knows his wrestling for years in WCW, Eric Bischoff, you got to give this guy credit though because he did a good job with the WCW's cruiserweight division from back in the days, coming up with this idea by having the cruiserweight start off the show like WCW Nitro every single Monday night to start off the show by some high flying, high risk maneuvers, and people loved it. People love the cruiserweight division. Cruiserweight division, it was good back then. And I remember years ago in the Attitude Era, WWF, wanted to compete with WCW's Cruiserweight division. They created their own division, which is called the WWF Light Heavyweight division with the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. Of course, you have light heavyweight wrestlers like Taka Michinoku, who was the first champion, the Great Sasuke. You got Devin Storm, Brian Christopher, aka Grandmaster Sexay, Scott Taylor, aka Scotty Tahati, and it was fun as well, but not as fun as WCW's Cruiserweight division. WWF did try to compete with, by creating the lightweight division, but it was a fail and it didn't work out as planned. But I mean, even though WWF's lightweight division, it was good, but it was not as good as WCW's Cruiserweight division. Now think about the wrestlers who not only held the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, but also the WWE Cruiserweight Championship in the Ruthless Aggression era. You got Brian Pillman, who was the first ever champion. Jushin Thunder Liger, he was the second. You got Scotty Flamingo, Brad Armstrong, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, Six, aka X Pac, Chris Jericho, Alex Wright, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero Jr. Hell, even Chavo Guerrero's father, Chavo Guerrero Sr., aka Chavo Classic, was Cruiserweight champion. Humberto Guerrero, Billy Kidman, Jamie Noble, Psychosis, Lenny Lane, Evan Courageous, Oklahoma, The Artist, Chris Candido, Crowbar, Lance Storm, Primetime Elite Skippers, Mike Sanders, Gregory Helms, Tajiri, Jamie Noble, Matt Hardy, and Spike Dudley, Funaki, Paul London, Kid Cash, and the list goes on and on. Like it was like these guys that I just mentioned, they have character. It was characters and charisma. They have some great cruiserweight matches. They do some high flying, high risk maneuvers. They do that many times. And the way they did it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun in both WCW and the Ruthless Aggression era's SmackDown's cruiserweight division. And not only that, but also you even got females who held the cruiserweight championship. Now there are only 3 females in the history of this championship that held the cruiserweight championship. 2 female held it in WCW. One of them held in the WWF. And the 3 women who held the Cruiserweight Championship was Medusa, aka London Blades, in WCW, and also Daphne. Now Medusa was the first overall cruiserweight, first female to ever held the Cruiserweight Championship overall, as well as the first female in WCW history to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Daphne became the second. I remember Daphne and Crowbar back in 2000. They were co-cruiserweight champions. They had a shit of town, stuff like that, for a while. And then the third woman who ever held the cruiserweight title that was in WWE's Ruthless Aggression era was Jacqueline. Now, even though Jacqueline was not the first ever not the first female to ever held the cruiserweight championship overall, but she was the first female to hold the cruiserweight championship in the WWE's version of Cruiserweight Championship under the WWE banner in the Ruthless Aggression era on SmackDown. So yes, those 3 women, Medusa, Daphne, and Jacqueline, held the Cruiserweight Championship. And not only that, but as you can see, these 2 cruiserweight belts. The one on the top, as you can see, is the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, and the one on the bottom is WWE's Ruthless Aggression era's Cruiserweight Championship. And another thing I want to say, this championship has a history. The Cruiserweight Championship has a history, no doubt about it, and it was amazing. And another thing I want to say is, the last person to ever held the WWE Cruiserweight Champion Ruthless Aggression era was Hornswoggle back in 2007. Not only that Hornswoggle was the last Cruiserweight Champion in WWE's Ruthless Aggression era, but he is responsible for that title not only being deactivated, but also demolished the Cruiserweight division in WWE's Ruthless Aggression era back in 2007. Yeah, fuck Hornswoggle. And what the hell was WWE thinking? What the hell was WWE thinking back then? And I gotta say, 2007 was a bad year for WWE. One of the reasons, Hornswoggle winning the Cruiserweight Championship in 2007, the Great American Jazz pay-per-view, and he was responsible for the title being deactivated, and not to mention the Cruiserweight division was dead, which I disagree with, because that was a stupid idea. But WWE, what the hell was WWE thinking back then? So yeah, and but but I gotta say, I really love the cruiserweight division WCW and the WWE's cruiserweight division Ruthless Aggression era on SmackDown. It was so much fun, and it's way better than the 205 Live's cruiserweight division currently in the WWE. Now I want to talk about that real quick. That the WWE's cruiserweight championship of 205 Live, if you've seen that championship belt, it's a purple gray Barney the Dinosaur championship belt. The title is so purple, they put silver metal plates. The design, it may be decent, but it's ugly. It's a horrible, ugly belt. That championship belt, the Cruiserweight Championship in 205 Live, does not have a history like the WCW's Cruiserweight Championship and WWE's Ruthless Aggression era Cruiserweight Championship. Because let me tell you something. Because yeah, think about the wrestlers who held that title in the Cruiserweight Championship in 205 Live. You got T.J. Perkins, who was the first ever champion. Now, even though T.J. Perkins is not in WWE no more because he's not, because they let him go, which I think that's a good idea for him to leave. But it's better for him to leave because WWE fucking sucks anyway. The current state of WWE is trash. But anyway, yeah, TJ Perkins was champion. And, D. Brian Kendrick, I like Brian Kendrick ever since, back in the days. Because Brian Kendrick debuted in the Ruthless Aggression era. When he won the Cruiserweight Championship on 205 Live, it was good. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he's one of those few cruiserweights that I like from 205 Live that are okay. Because, I was a fan of Brian Kendrick ever since the Ruthless Aggression era. I remember that tag team, him and Paul London becoming WWE Tag Team. It was great. They were a fun cruiserweight tag team. And let me say this, the only cruiserweight wrestlers on 205 Live that I like, in my opinion, that were good, was D. Brian Kendrick, Neville. Yeah, I know some of you guys don't like Neville, which is fine. More power to it. Everybody has the right for their opinions at the end of the day. But anyway, Neville, he had a good run in the cruiserweight division. He held that title. He was the longest reigning cruiserweight champion. He did pretty well on 205 Live. And Enzo Amore. Now I know some of you guys do not like Enzo Amore, and that's fine. I can understand. I can understand some of you guys do not like Enzo, but the reason why Enzo Amore is okay in my opinion is because he actually had a good run in the cruiserweight division. He won the cruiserweight title twice. Um, he was a heel. He was actually good as a heel, cutting a good promo. No, I'm not gonna lie. When he first came to the WWE main roster, his promo was terrible. But I feel like when he joined the cruiserweight division, his promos has improved and he did pretty well. And not to mention, he was one of the reasons why 205 Live was good because he made that cruiserweight division 205 Live relevant, and not only that, but he actually draw ratings in 205 Live, and more people actually watched 205 Live at that time was because of Enzo. Like, I never saw that coming, and it was very impressive. I was impressed by Enzo, even though I was not really the biggest fan of his, but he had a good run in the cruiserweight division on 205 Live. But here's the thing: the cruiserweight division on 205 Live, it's so boring. It's not as fun. It's not really fun, and it will never be like the WCW's cruiserweight division or WWE's Ruthless Aggression era SmackDown's cruiserweight division because it's so boring. Because mostly you see these indie small guys doing flips and kicks. Now here's the thing: yeah, they do high flying moves, but most of the times they do flips and kicks more than doing high risk maneuver. Not to mention there's no character or no charisma, none of that. And when the fans goes to these live events and watching 205 Live or even the Cruiserweight Division NXT, they always get up their seats and they go for a bathroom break or getting some candy or buy some popcorn or even get some soda or beverage or any other drinks they want. Like 205 Live's Cruiserweight Division was so boring. Nobody cares about it. Every time they see a match happen, they just get up their seat and go to the bathroom or get some snacks or a beverage or something. So yeah, fuck 205 Live. But yeah, but I will say this, and there's one thing I want to say before I end this video. I will say this. The Cruiserweight division in WCW and in WWE's Ruthless Aggression era will always be, and I repeat, will always be way better than 205 Live's Cruiserweight division. And that's it for this video, guys. So don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, post your comments in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the history of the WCW, WWF, and WWE's Ruthless Aggression eras Cruiserweight Championship, as well as the Cruiserweight division from WCW and WWE SmackDown's Ruthless Aggression eras. And that's it for this video, guys. So this is Domingo Hero Network. All I can say is take care. Have a good day. Goodbye, everyone. Domingo Hero Network is signing out. Peace.